god, this drawing is so cute. I love Brujo Ari. I wonder what the comments think.
What the actual?
I love the drawing. Hate that he's cockyoing.
I'm sorry, what?
It doesn't even look like him at all.
They can make them OCs based off Kakoyin's and Jotaro's personality? Oh, no need to headcanon them. Characters so hard.
I hate fanning Kakyoin and Jotaro.
They ruined her.
Oh, okay. You've seen the pipeline before. You follow an artist that draws a specific character that you really like, and then over time they keep drawing them, and suddenly their outfits look a little different, and their hairstyle looks a little different, and suddenly they act different from canon too. Oh my gosh, congratulations on your adoption. Sign here, please. And with this new OC often comes a lot of hate comments. But why? What's the problem? The answer always boils down to one thing: love. This sounds strange, but hear me out, okay? Think of it as a T-chart. On one side, we have the people who like the character so much that they add a bunch of headcanons on them and make them personal. In this case, for an example, we're thinking Brujo Ari. And then, on the other side of the chart, think about the fans who like the character so much that they think they are perfect and they should remain the same, and if they don't, they are tainted. And it's a dishonor to the character to change them even a little bit. They're under the same category, they all love the same character, they just have, I guess you can say, different interpretations, if you will. And while I do see where both sides are coming from, I also don't agree with posting hate comments on a Pinterest post because they changed the character's hair. That's silly. But also, I am biased, and I love taking my favorite characters and making them into OCs. So, yeah. But before we talk about the characters, let us talk about world building, because world building is really, really hard. I don't really like world building. No hate to those who do like world building. I wish I liked world building. I just find myself getting more attached to characters and dynamics rather than the world that they are in. And because of that, a lot of my stories are just set in the modern world because I can't really think outside of that. So when I do have to make a fantasy world, what better way to do it than to look at fantasy worlds that I already like and use that as a template. For an example, I have these 3 OCs that are part of this idol group called Yours Truly. And for a while, they were just magical girl idols who defeated monsters. But I was bored with that. And then I watched K-pop Demon Hunters. And like many people, I fell in love. They are all over our walls. They are the best. Huntrix don't miss. How it's done. But there are a lot of concepts from this movie that I thought were really interesting. The idea that they're celebrities, public idols, and yet they have such a deep, dark secret that no one knows about. The fact that the Sacha boys are actually demons disguised as humans in order to take their soul. What else? The fact that their weapons are formed from the Honmoon. That's such a good idea. So I took it and added my own ideas on top of it. So now Yours Truly aren't just humans. Instead, they are idols who hide the fact that they are actually angels, specifically Chords, and Chords are people who are granted magic by the god Apollo. And with my version of Apollo, he has a magic, I think you can say lyre, larar, I don't know. But it's an instrument with 7 strings, and he can pluck these strings in order to give them to another person. And in this story, he gives away 6 of his strings to 6 people who are in need, 6 people who are lost and sad and feel like they have no purpose in life. And by giving them these strings, he gives them an artistic purpose, and they find love and creation and art in music and, you know, in life again. And the story starts when these chords start dying off, and their hypothesis is that they are simply not believed in anymore. Their version of Earth is very cyberpunky, think very techy, so they don't really think about traditional art anymore. So the last 3 chords decide to go to Earth to inspire humans to create art again. And I don't know if you noticed, but I basically just explained to you the Saja boys, but if they were the good guys. But you probably wouldn't be able to tell because I put my own interest and my own ideas on top of the template. And it was fun. It was so much more fun than creating the original iteration. My favorite thing about this pipeline is that you can tell how personal it becomes. At some point after the fan art and before creating the OC, you can see the shift between it just being about the canon to it being about the creator and feeling seen by the character they're drawing. Like, for me personally, I see a character that I relate to, a character that I like, and then I start to think about them being in my shoes. When I watched K-pop Demon Hunters, I really identified with Zoe when she talked about her issues and how she always felt weird and alone and how she felt like no one liked her ideas before joining her friend group. I understood where she was coming from. I felt like maybe I'm not alone in feeling those feelings. Maybe I'm not as weird as I thought, because if someone on the K-pop Demon Hunters writing team thought about that idea and put it with that character, then I can't be the only one who feels that way. And it makes me feel less alone. That's why sexuality headcanons are so popular, or gender headcanons are so popular. Because the idea of your favorite character experiencing the same problems as you is relatable, and it makes you feel less alone. And I know that a lot of people leave hate comments because they feel like the OC looks too much like the initial character, or maybe it's the opposite, and that the headcanon character looks way too little like the initial character, which honestly is a whole nother ramble in another sense. Because what do you mean that a lot of people still see Brujo Ari's OCs, like the ones that are being used to make a show, and are still trying to say that they're JoJo characters? That doesn't make sense. It's never enough, I fear. But either way, I just feel like this pipeline is a representation of people and artists finding themselves and accepting themselves for who they are through their art and through their OCs. At the end of the day, if people don't see themselves in the media, they're going to try to create that media, or they're going to project themselves onto existing characters. And that's just what this is. It's people wanting to be understood. And with that being said, I want to introduce to you guys the characters in yours truly, because they're all based off of the Huntrix girls, and I want to talk about it. Since we are talking about Zoe, I think the first character that should be introduced is Amadi. She is Zoe's counterpart. They have very similar personalities. They're both really hyperactive and supportive and high energy and extremely passionate about the things that they like. But the main thing and the main reason why I made her is because I have chronic illness. So I was like sitting in bed and thinking about Zoe, and I was like, I wonder what like she would be like if she also had chronic illness. And then I thought about it more, and I was like, ooh, I like this idea for an OC. So Amadi isn't the protagonist, but she is the leader of the group and is the reason why the chords came down to earth. You see, she was the one with the idea that said, hey, maybe we should go down and talk to the humans, see what they're doing, help them out a bit. And while this is because she was so worried about the chords, it's also because she loves Earth. I imagine that as an angel, she was already studying humans and she found them very fascinating. She always wanted to interact with them, to understand where they're coming from, to be around them. So this was kind of that opportunity for her. And because of that, she kind of became the leader of the group accidentally, in a way. It was her plan after all, so it was kind of just natural for her to become the leader. And honestly, she's a perfect fit for leader, which is great for her. Like, everyone would love to be considered a great leader, but it also puts a lot of pressure on her. And this pressure becomes even worse when she realizes that she's getting sick and she's scared that she's experiencing the same symptoms as the other chords did before they died. Also, I really like the idea of her having a white streak and then her hair becoming even more white as the symptoms kick in. Welcome back, Anna from Frozen. I love you, girl. I know that you're not supposed to pick a favorite child, but I fear I just can't help it. Oh, Annette, my beautiful, lovely Rumi counterpart. The main thing that I took from Rumi is her guilt. I feel like it's very rare in media for a character to be a good guy and lie. For a character to be a good guy and work with the bad guys. For a character to be a good guy and tear their friendships apart. I love it. I think it's also just so relatable. I feel like everyone, or at least in my opinion, I've had some experiences when I was younger where I did something that I deeply regretted, or I said something that was mean, or just anything I regretted, and how deep it affected me. And I see that with Rumi, and I want to show that with Annette. Annette is the protagonist of the story, and this is because she mingles with the antagonist. I haven't talked about the antagonist because I have had a very busy last couple of weeks. So I haven't really gotten around to designing the antagonist or the protagonist weapons, but I have a concept. So there is actually this Greek myth where sirens initially started out very feathery and beautiful, and they could sing very well, and all of these attributes led them to be very cocky, and they built a bit of an ego. And because of this, they went up to the muses, which are godly beings that are absolutely amazing at singing. And the sirens challenged them to a battle of the bands, and the sirens lost. And because of that, the muses plucked their feathers one by one, and the sirens thought they were so ugly, they decided to run away and crawl into the ocean, never to be seen again. I adore this concept, so I really wanted the antagonist to be the sirens in this story. So yours truly has a rival pop group called Whirlpool. When they all officially meet, they don't know that these are the angels that they hate, but they do know that they don't like this rival group because they know they're trying to upstage them. I imagine that they actually don't know for a while till Annette falls in love with a member of the Whirlpool team, and then the siren goes to kiss her, and she sees that she has a bright, beautiful golden tattoo on her back, which is a cord. She has a cord on her back, which is a physical reminder of Apollo's string just on the mortal body, and they use this cord in order to summon weapons. And then it really gets messy. Another key part of Annette is she's just a little messy. She has some jealousy issues, mostly because she is the last cord to join the team, so people kind of look down on her. They see her as a child. She's an adult, but they still see her as a child. So she's doing everything she can to prove that she's good enough and mature enough to be on this team. And she's just finding love in a bad place is all I'm gonna say. Last but not least, we have Asamen. And as you could probably guess, she is the Mira counterpart. I love Mira. I love Mira a lot. I love the fact that she is very deadpan for the most part. And I love the fact that she has bright pink hair. And I love the fact that she is so very cute. I just love her. And I also really love that she's allowed to be angry. I think that's really cool. And that's not seen very often. So I wanted to give her all of those elements all at once. So I imagine that as an angel, Asamen wasn't very happy. She's currently grieving because she was very close with one of the cords that has passed away. And it's really hard for her. I imagine that her anger isn't just sadness, it's rage. She gets so mad. I wanted to make this distinction because I remember that when my mother passed away, I was very angry, and I felt weird for being so angry because a lot of people were expecting me to be sad. A lot of people don't talk about the rage part of grieving, and I felt like that was all I felt. So I wanted to project a little bit of that onto her. Asamen is very similar to Mira, mostly in personality. I imagine that Asamen is also very deadpan. Take like Mira and Natsuki and mix them together, and that's who Asamen is. And I imagine that Asamen wasn't always that way. I mean, their grief is making them react a lot more like snippy than they typically would. But I do like the idea that things actually do start to get better for Asamen. I don't know if I'm gonna go with this idea, but I really like the concept of some of the characters going back to the godly realm while others don't. I just think it would be really interesting if Asamen stayed on Earth. I think that she would really like Earth. I especially think she would appreciate how people grieve on Earth, like the concept of funerals and things like that. I think maybe when she was a cord, that wasn't a popular thing. They just kind of disappeared, and that was that. She would see light and love in the practices that humans have. And I think she would really like soda, especially like strawberry Fanta. Wow, that got a little rambly there, but I do just want to say one last thing before I go. One More thing that I really like about this pipeline is that you can see the changes. I included a lot of concept art in this video, and I think you can see me drifting from the initial Huntrix characters to where they ended up, and I'm excited to keep working with them. And I like to see the same changes happen with other artists. I think it's really cool to look back at Brujo Ari's art and see their original forms and see them when they're still calling each other like the JoJo names. Like, that's so fun. It's so cool. And also, another pro that I noticed not just with Brujo Ari, but with myself as well, the more you draw these characters, the more your art improves because you're practicing art. And you're practicing art doing something that you love. That's so cool. I don't know if this video was very motivating. I know that I just talked about my OCs a lot during it, but I just wanted to show you guys that it's okay to do this. It's okay to make OCs based off of characters that you like, and it's okay to be cringe, and it's okay to project onto your favorite characters. There should not be shame in that. Art is supposed to be fun, and if people are making you feel bad for making art, just know I'm giving you permission to do it. If anyone says anything, just say Pistachio Me says it's okay, because it is okay. It is okay.
That's it! 2 fingers up your butt!